All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back here again for Pete's Power Rankings. Super Wild Card Weekend is upon us. The NFL regular season is over. Say goodbye to 2022, 2023. We have lost 18 teams. They are looking forward to next year. It's down to just 14 squads fighting for that Lombardi trophy. I've been watching 99% of all these games, taking notes, keeping tabs, ranking everybody from 32 through 1, giving the best possible breakdown for you. Let's get into it here with our eliminated boys. So long, farewell, Auf Wiedersehen. We will see these squads next year. A lot of terrible teams, a lot of teams ending on a super positive note, others with horrible disappointment. Okay, I got the worst team here, the Indianapolis Colts, in the final ranking for them. Worst team in the NFL, complete dumpster fire and embarrassment. Arizona fired their head coach. The Bears, your number one pick. Very interesting. No quarterback for them. What are they going to do? Can they get a haul of picks? Because they need a lot of help for Justin Fields. Houston, a huge FU by Lovie Smith winning that final game, knowing he was going to get fired. You know, Cleveland, Vegas needs a quarterback. Cleveland is Watson bounce back. Denver actually looked pretty strong here down the stretch. Won some games with Russell Wilson at quarterback without Nathaniel Hackett. So promising for them. McVay, is he out in LA? The Jets need a quarterback. Carolina, some question marks, need a quarterback. Tennessee, it's a lot of teams that need a quarterback on this list. It seems to be the answer. New England, Mac Jones, they need an offensive coordinator. He did not play bad in Week 18. They were winning in against the Bills. They fell short. They obviously had a lot going against them, but they were really in that game, and it's just they need an offensive play caller for them. Washington, Ron Rivera, I think he should get fired. He butchered this thing. All they had to do was beat Cleveland at home, and they're in the postseason. Green Bay, oh, poor Rodgers, injected into my veins. I think it's the end of Rodgers in Lambeau. It sure as shit felt like it. It sure as shit looked like it. Not sure if he retires. I would lean that way, but it's possible he comes back to play for somebody else. But it's, yeah, pretty pathetic way to end it, losing at home like that. Pittsburgh, great finish to the season. Mike Tomlin, 16 seasons as a head coach, 16 seasons at 500 or better. Absolutely incredible stuff. That's a streak that's probably never getting broken, ever. Really good end to them. Kenny Pickett looks like a franchise quarterback. Maybe not a top 5 guy, but definitely in that 15 to 10 range. You can win a lot of games if you have a great head coach, which seems like they do, and you put some pieces around him. George Pickens, awesome wide receiver. And Detroit, shout out to the Lions. Honestly, the Lions should be in the playoffs. It's just real shitty how the tiebreakers fell, how they got blown out by Carolina. We'll still never know at the end of the season. But Dan Campbell, my coach of the year for the job he did. They were 1-6. The team never quit on him. He turned it into a tough, tenacious, fighting football team. They really embody their head coach. The Lions are a problem to deal with, but they need Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, who's put on a masterclass the last few weeks, especially on Green Bay in Lambeau in front of everybody. He's probably getting a head coaching job, but great show for them, for the Lions. They're 15, but let's get into it. What you're here for, our 14 remaining wild card weekend teams. One of these teams kind of had to win and get in. They needed some help. They backed in. But before we get into it, drop a quick like on this video. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. New videos every single weekday. Let's head on down to South Beach for number 14. Okay, at number 14, I got the Miami Dolphins here. They needed to win and get in at home against the Jets, and they needed some help from Buffalo, their division rival. Well, Buffalo gave them the help, and the 50-yard field goal at the gun, essentially, by Sanders put the Dolphins in the playoffs. They won the game 11-6. It put them up 9-6. They got a Garbo safety at the end of the game. It was a real slog for them. Skylar Thompson at quarterback. He's just not good. We're going to be honest here. Tyreek Hill got a little nicked up, but Miami, the season was soaring high for them. We were looking like a Super Bowl team possibly. Fell apart down the stretch, but they backed in. They now got to go to Buffalo, which is not a great place to play, but they played them pretty tough in Buffalo a few weeks ago, but they had Tua at quarterback. I don't think Tua can play. I don't think they can even possibly think about playing Tua. The question is, does Teddy Bridgewater come in? Teddy Bridgewater's played in some playoff games, so that's a nice veteran experience to have. I just think Miami's up shit's creek without a paddle, honestly. They're not very good. They're not very healthy at this point in the year. They're playing an elite team that's got a lot of extra juice going with them. They're in Buffalo. It's going to be really hard for them. One and done for first-year head coach Mike McDaniels, and question marks at quarterback moving forward. Okay, speaking of question marks at quarterback, the Baltimore Ravens here at 13. What's going on with Lamar Jackson? He was scheduled to play December 24th, according to Adam Schefter. Schefter just don't say this shit. So there is really something going on with Lamar. They're either keeping it hush-hush, he hasn't even practiced yet, or Lamar's holding out. There's some words, I've talked about it before. Lamar, hold out, say, screw you, Baltimore. You're giving me this guaranteed contract because you guys need me. Look at that. I don't play. You guys are horrible. Tyler Huntley was out this week. They got shit-housed by Cincinnati. They probably would have lost anyway, but they were playing for a chance at home field. It didn't happen, so they rested some guys on offense. They played most of the defense. That's concerning. They got to go back to Cincinnati this week. You just don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Is it Lamar or is it Tyler Huntley? Huge difference between the two. If it's Lamar, this team's probably a lot stronger than the 13, but it's looking like Huntley, and if it's not Huntley, it's whoever hell started this week, Adams or whatever. I don't even know his name. I couldn't even keep track of it, but they're not winning with him at quarterback. So hopefully it's Huntley. If it's Lamar, you're really in good shape here to possibly upset a super hot Bengals team, but there's a lot of question marks moving forward. Seems like Lamar may not want to play for this franchise anymore. 12, I got the Seattle Seahawks here just because they're a little bit more stable at quarterback here. Another team that essentially got some help to get in. They won, barely escaped at home against the Rams. They were down in the second half, got in position by Geno to hit the game-winning field goal. They missed the game-winning field goal in regulation, but then they got a nice turnover thanks to Baker Moneymaker to put them in chip shot range for Myers and give them hope. And thanks to the Detroit Lions, they sneak in as your final team in the NFC. You know, this is a great job by Pete Carroll. Nobody had this Seahawks team led by Geno Smith getting into the playoffs. So this is a huge accomplishment for this team. I know the Seahawks fans are just really happy to be here, but they're playing the division rival 49ers, so you just never know. It is a division game. It is in San Francisco. They are the 2 seed for a reason. They're an elite squad. But I think Seattle, if they can establish this running game with Kenneth Walker, it makes life easier on Geno. There's open throws to be had, especially off the play action. The defense plays good. They can force turnovers. You got a shot. You just never know. Great season for Seattle. I got them here at number 12. Number 11 for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, this might be a little low. It might be a little high. You just don't know. This is a super dangerous football team. When Tom Brady's your quarterback, when you're in the playoffs, a lot of this roster still has won that Super Bowl, and they've won it on the road. They've got a lot of experience. Problem is, they're at home. They're facing a very good Dallas Cowboys team. I like what the Buccaneers do. Tom Brady, again, broke the single-season completion record. The problem is they have no run game to go with it. It's an efficient passing game. They don't get huge chunk plays. They matriculate down the field. They burn clock. The defense has been playing a lot better down the stretch. They've been getting a lot of stops when they need to. They were horrendous against the run. They're not kind of like okay against the run, which is what you're going to have to be. But it's, like I said, good that they're at home. They get a hot Cowboys team. It's a super dangerous Buccaneer squad. You just don't know what you're going to get with Tampa. Some moments you see Tampa, it's like, oh shit, this is the team that could win a Super Bowl or go on a deep run. Other moments is like, this is like a team that should win 3 games. So you just don't know what Tampa you're going to get. If they can put it together, which they've started to trend towards down the stretch here, this is a very scary team considering the quarterback experience in the NFC they would have to face. Okay, number 10, the guy who's actually going to win Coach of the Year, regardless of my say, it's Brian Daboll, another elite job as a head coach. gets the Giants back into the playoffs. It's been a long, long time for them, and they are feeling really charged up, really jacked up. They rested all their starters this week. They're heading back to Minnesota, where they just played on Christmas Eve, and they lost on a 61-yard field goal. So they got a lot of confidence that they can go into that building and make some noise. And why shouldn't you? The Vikings are a team that everyone's kind of all over the place on. A lot of people don't believe in them. The key to this Giants team, running the football with Saquon and Daniel Jones. If you can get both guys running the football, it makes it really hard on the defense. It opens up some very easy throws for them. Shit, even Kenny Golladay caught a touchdown against the Eagles. Maybe he finds himself back into the rotation. This is just a fantastic job by this coaching group, getting the most out of them. And the defense is very, very solid all around. The young pass rush, Kayvon Thibodeau is starting to come on super, super strong. The back end is getting healthier. So this is a very interesting Giants team. They're going to play decent to good defense, run the football, shorten the game, try and make things ugly. They're not the most talented team in the world, but they could definitely go into Minnesota and snatch a win. Number 9, the prince that was promised, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars were win and in at home against the Titans. They are your AFC South champions. They were first overall pick in back-to-back years and then went from worst to first in the division this year. Absolutely incredible story. Doug Peterson's probably the best move this franchise has ever made in regards to a coaching decision or anything outside of drafting Trevor Lawrence. Elite job he did with this team. They were 2-6. They lost 5 in a row. The wheels were falling off the wagon. They got it all together, got to 9-8, won the division. They're getting a home game, and this is a pretty interesting team. The problem is we saw a lot of young moments from Trevor Lawrence against the Titans. Didn't play particularly well, struggled, missed some throws. The offensive line did not do a good job protecting him. They need a couple more pieces here. Could they win? Absolutely. I do not think they're playing an overpowering team at home this week in the LA Chargers. I just think they're a little young. This is a big spot for them. Congratulations to the Jaguars getting it this far. I think the NFL, the AFC in particular, is going to have a lot to deal with this Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence combo for a long, long time. Okay, number 8, the LA Chargers. First wildcard team here out of the AFC, the number 5 seed. They had a really strong finish to the season, lost at Denver, but man, they kind of played the starters a little too much. I keep telling y'all how much I hate Brandon Staley. He should be fired for the shit he pulled. There was no reason to play. They were locked into the 5 seed. The team already deals with nothing but injury problems. Everybody's always hurt on this team, and you play the starters. Now Mike Williams has a back contusion. Who knows what his status is going to be for the game come Saturday night? I mean, come on, guys. You need these people out there. You need Herbert to have Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler. That's how this offense has really emerged into a high-flying offense these last few weeks. They've been playing lights-out football. The defense has been getting so much better. They got Joey Bosa last week. He picks up a little bit of a nick this week. So it's just a bonehead coaching decision. But other than that, this is a very talented squad. They're playing really good football. They got to go on the road, but I don't think that's going to bother them too much. Jacksonville's not much of a road environment, you know. The fans will show up, but it's not one of those places you talk about. So I think it's a very interesting matchup in two pretty even teams. Neither team has much playoff experience, but I think Herbert's a little bit got a better cast around him, and he's a little bit better of a quarterback than Trevor Lawrence is at this point. So I would lean the Chargers in this game, but right now, number 8, LA could be finding themselves into the second round. Okay, number 7, I got your Cowboys here at 7. A real shitty way to end the season. Dallas played all their starters, and Dallas got mollywopped by division rivals Washington. It was just a horrible showing here. I mean, what's there to say? We know what this team needs to do, and they haven't been doing it well. They got to run the football. They got to play conservative. They got to not turn it over. The defense played a lot better this week. It wasn't really their fault. The offense put the defense into bad situations to give up points. They scored on a pick 6 to Washington, so the score wasn't necessarily indicative of how the defense played. I thought they played pretty well, given how things were. It was a rookie quarterback, so I expect that, and Washington was just playing for pride. Dak is the problem. I mean, Dak has been horrendous this year. Any of you Dak defenders still out there, I just don't get it. I mean, he's what the media makes you think Kirk Cousins is. He turns the ball over way too much in big games. He doesn't push the ball downfield, and he doesn't make any of those wow plays. The injury he suffered on his ankle 2 seasons ago has really changed what he gives you at quarterback. I just think Dak is only going to take you so far. He is the limiting factor. Now, if he gets into, I'm not turning the football over, I'm going to be conservative with my passes, we're going to run the ball, we're going to pound the rock for 100 yards, let the defense get stops, this could be a super dangerous Cowboys team if they start humming, because they're a bunch of front runners. They got an interesting matchup Monday night in Tampa Bay. You just don't know what it's going to be like. Some definite redemption there and some desire. Usually when a team gets embarrassed, they show up the next week. They got embarrassed this week, so I expect them to show up Monday night. They lost week 1 against Tampa. They got revenge on the mind. It's really interesting to see, but Dak has to play better for this team to find the second round and beyond, because if he does, they definitely can make some noise. Okay, in the counter to Dak, it's my Minnesota Vikings here at number 6, a team that is all offense, and if they can just get the defense to do a little bit of something here, this is a very dangerous football team. We know Justin Jefferson. We know the weapons Kirk Cousins has. He's been playing at an electric clip. 4th in passing yards, 5th in touchdowns this season. Really, really strong year for him. I just like this offense as a whole. They got so many unique weapons. Now, they are a little banged up on the offensive line, which is a problem. If Cousins gets pressure on him, he is not a good quarterback. So that could cause some real havoc, in particular in the middle. They have possibly their backup tackle coming back and possibly their starting center, which would be huge, huge additions for this team. It's the defense. The defense is only going to take them so far. Can they get critical stops when they need to? Can they not hemorrhage points and yards all game against inferior teams? They have a very kind of weird offense going in. It's not like the Giants are a high-flying offense, so they need to limit them, let the Vikings offense work, and this team is only going to go as far as this defense allows them. I think the offense is Super Bowl quality, the defense not so much, but they have a rabbit foot up their ass. They're 11-0 in one-score games, so if they can manage not to get blown out in the first quarter and keep the games close, very dangerous Vikings team. They're battle-tested. They know what it's going to be in crunch time. Luckily, they're at home for this week. There's a chance they can get the home game next week. They are the 3 seed, so they could be heading to San Francisco if the Niners win. But if the Niners get upset, they're going to be hosting a second-round game, which is all the difference in the world. I think the Vikings should beat the Giants. They could absolutely lose to them, but I think the second round is probably the limit for this team and this defense. Number 5, I got the Buffalo Bills at number 5. Now, they could have the kiss of destiny here. I don't want to play with destiny. We know everything that happened to Damar Hamlin, all the emotion they're going to be playing with. Thank God it seems like he is going to be just A-okay, and it's looking like he could be getting back to normal, maybe. But the Bills are going to have a lot of emotion. They are technically the 2 seed, but if they do make the AFC title game against Kansas City, they will be playing that game at a neutral site, which is a big, big help because of everything that happened. They just seem to struggle in games. They should have blown this Patriots team out early. They kind of meander through games. They don't necessarily look totally right. Now, it could have absolutely been the circumstances this week, but they've done this before. I've seen Buffalo do this before. This is an all or nothing team. If Buffalo's at their best, they are going to be a team that could win the Super Bowl. But if they get into this funk that they tend to get into, they get out of the running game too quick, Allen can't move the ball, the defense starts giving up stuff, they could get upset by anybody in this league. I think they dispose of Miami this week. It's the next round where you're going to get Cincinnati probably. I mean, not the best matchup, and we could actually see how that game plays out. So Buffalo is a team that definitely can win a Super Bowl, but I could also see them getting upset. I just don't know what Bills team I'm going to get week in, week out, quarter to quarter. Little too roller coastery for me. Okay, number 4, I got the Eagles here at 4. They needed to win to clinch up the division and a 1 seed this weekend. They had to play the starters, play Jalen Hurts. They managed to do it, but it was ugly. They were in control for 95% of this game. I know the Giants scored late to make it close. They needed the onside kick, but still, wasn't crisp, wasn't clean. I'm glad they shook the rust off of Hurts this week, but they are racking up injuries across the board. Lots of guys down, lots of guys dealing with stuff. Hurts, obviously, the number 1 concern with that throwing shoulder. looked all right. It's just like, how many hits is he going to be able to take? You just don't know. This was a team that was cruising through 90% of this season. They looked like they were the clear 1 seed, clear sailing through. They have the bye, which is a huge, huge add. They can rest this week, try and get even another week healthier. Worry a little bit about the rust in the first half of that first game, but after that, very good football team, very well-rounded. Nick Sirianni, he's going to be tested as a head coach, just something we haven't seen, and everybody's just not playoff tested on this team. I mean, they're going to have to rely on Lane Johnson, their Super Bowl tackle, and Kelsey to really carry this team through with experience. It's a young team. They've had a great season. We'll just see how things play out. The NFC is wide open, so they could easily be sitting there in Arizona in February. Number 3, I got the Kansas City Chiefs here at 3. They're your 1 seed in the AFC. They are so dangerous, especially at home. The bye is really nice. Andy Reid coming off a bye is almost an automatic victory, and it's going to be at home. Problem is, AFC title game probably going to be at a neutral site. They're really pulling for Cincinnati right now so they can host that AFC title game again, which would be for the 5th straight year. All 5 years Patrick Mahomes has started at quarterback, which is absolutely absurd. But this team, we know how good they are. Best quarterback in the league. The offense led the league in scoring this year. Fantastic when everyone thought they were going to drop off without Tyreek Hill. They sometimes sputter in games. It's a lot of playing with their food. I think they're going to be dialed in and focused come playoff time because they're not getting a team to play with their food. They're either getting the division rival Chargers or maybe the Jags. They could be stuck playing with the Jags, I guess. But team is starting to play a lot better. Chris Jones has really come on as a monster on the inside. The defensive back end needs to be able to hold up. They got to get to the quarterback. This team is Super Bowl or bust. I expect them to be playing in the AFC Championship game. I would not be surprised if they're playing for the Super Bowl. I think there are just moments where the team really struggles, and you question, are they maybe not as good as we think they are, or are they just super lack of focus? We're going to find out here in a couple weeks. Okay, number 2, my Cincinnati Bengals. We've been buy on the Bengals stock here, and man, this team, they had some beef with the NFL, having to deal with the coin flip and the Ravens, and they absolutely left no doubt. They beat the brakes off of Baltimore. Baltimore pushed it a little bit closer towards the end, but Cincinnati had checked out. This is the most dangerous team in the AFC. They are absolutely humming. They can run the football. They can throw the football. The protection is questioned now. They have a couple injuries on the offensive line. Lyle Collins out for the season. They picked up another injury to Alex Kappa, so gotta work. Hopefully he's okay and plays in this game. Baltimore probably isn't going to give them much trouble. It is a division opponent, but I just don't see that being the problem. The key is the next 2 games where they're trying to get to the Super Bowl here. If they can protect, we know Joe Burrow. Man is a madman. He's on a mission. He's honestly the most frightening person, the coolest person at quarterback right now, which is Joe Burrow. Bengals defense, a no-name defense. They're as solid as can be. They get stops. They force turnovers. They make life uncomfortable, and they don't give up points. That's the big thing. They're the best second-half unit in the NFL. They do not give up anything out there when the starters are cooking. So this is a super dangerous team out of the AFC. Probably not the favorite just because of the path they're going to have to take, but man, they are so scary. All right, and number 1, I still got my San Francisco 49ers here. They have been an elite team in the NFC. They are really scary. They run the football. They can throw the football. There's so many weapons on this offense. You got Christian McCaffrey. You got Debo. You got George Kittle. You just don't know where the ball's going to go. Don't forget Brandon Ayuk. He's their leading receiver right now. It's an offensive treasure trove. Honestly, the biggest question is mystery relevant rookie Brock Purdy, who's done a great job taking over the reins. He doesn't make bad mistakes. He's aggressive in pushing the ball downfield. He hits the open man, and that's all you have to do in this offense. And honestly, Jimmy G has the worst quarterback rating in the fourth quarters in playoff history. That's in every fourth quarter of every game Jimmy G's plays. He's the worst quarterback ever. So if Brock Purdy could just not be the worst quarterback ever, we know where that could take San Francisco. The key is this team's defense. Nick Bosa is your defensive player of the year. They rush the passer. They tackle people. They have great linebackers. Fred Warner, one of the best. They secondary locks people down. They force turnovers. This is just the most complete unit. They are so scary in the NFC. The biggest question mark, like I said, is the quarterback. They're the 2 seed, so they're getting 2 home games if they keep winning. They would have to go to Philadelphia, but if Philadelphia loses, they're hosting, so they could easily have 3 home games to get to Arizona. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Where was I off? Who am I too high on? Are you ready for the wild card weekend? Put your picks down in the comments below. Again, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share this video with your friends, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.